Scalpel with Dr. Keith Rose. Cutting down to the truth through history and experience. Subscribe to The Scalpel wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at The Scalpel Podcast, on Twitter at The Scalpel Edge. Email kfr@scalpeledge.com or the website scalpeledge.com.
A common purpose with terrorists. It's just hard to believe that we even got to this point. And now tonight we can confirm that there is one type of intelligence the U.S. has left behind in the hands of the Taliban. This is the biometric database and the scanners that come with that capability that are called interagency identity detection equipment. There are multiple reports of these devices being used not by the U.S. in Kabul when people were boarding those planes, but by the Taliban and the Islamic terrorists that they work with at the checkpoints that we were sending our American citizens and vulnerable Afghan allies through to get to the airport to try to leave the country. Sensitive biometric data like iris scans and fingerprints of every single person who worked with American and NATO forces. These are people the Taliban consider collaborators, and those devices enable the Taliban and Al-Qaeda to hunt them down anywhere. They can find anyone who worked with and for the U.S. or the Afghan government, or anyone who believes in the idea of freedom. They can find them anywhere they are. These individuals are the ones who are relying on us, who turned to us to help after we turned and relied on them. We don't have to imagine what their fates will be. Keith Rose is a former member of the intelligence community, and he joins us now with a lot more information on these devices and what it means for them to be in the hands of terrorists. Keith, what do you make of all of this?
Laura, it's really unfortunate because Tajmir Jawad, who is running a large suicide network, is reportedly working with Siraj Haqqani, using the information off these devices to track down our intelligence assets and informants. They have, by report, the names of all the folks that helped us from 2002 to 2021, and they're using that information from these biometric devices to hunt them down, find their houses, and locate them.
So, Keith, you're somebody who actually knows Siraj Haqqani. There aren't many Americans who can say that. He once called you, if I recall correctly, you said to me that he referred to you as a very bad man. Tell us about him and the Haqqani network.
Siraj Haqqani is the terrorist version of Tony Soprano. With Siraj, it's always about the money. In fact, Siraj just today, or actually earlier today, like you mentioned, was in the northeast corner of Kaya Airport on the second floor of the Ministry of Interior building having a meeting, and he told all the press, the friendly press, that they couldn't take his picture because he's done so many bad deeds. He's still concerned that the Americans will come after him. But as you mentioned, he's going to be there tomorrow, so maybe you and I could split the reward, because I know the Department of State has a $10 million reward for information on where he is, and my understanding is he's going to be on the second floor.
Well, and there's certainly a lot of Afghans who could use that money, right? Because although American citizens are, slowly being able to leave the country, and we're praising Haqqani, where does that leave green card holders and Afghans who have worked with the U.S. or Afghan Special Operations Forces who were fighting right up to the last moment?
Well, that information on those scanners give their addresses. It gives all their information because that's how they were paid. So these folks are hiding, and the fact that the State Department and the military are working with the Haqqanis to, quote, screen or vet the manifests is ludicrous. I mean, anyone that Siraj Haqqani would pass through, we know doesn't need to leave the country because they're safe. And anyone he wouldn't pass through, he's going to be hunting, and we've given him the information.
How, you've spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. How insane is it to you and many other members of the special operations community and the armed forces that the U.S. is actually saying things with a straight face, like we're going to work with Haqqani and the Taliban to hunt out terrorists in Afghanistan?
It's like they're living in an alternate universe. As you and I both know, there's a lot of good people trying to help folks get out of Afghanistan, while our military leaders and our intelligence community leaders and our political leaders are saying we're going to work with these terrorists that we have been working against our entire time in Afghanistan to help the people that helped us find them leave. It doesn't make any sense.
Keith, thank you so much for that. I know that you are as concerned as many others about the Afghans still fighting in the Panjshir Valley. And thank you so much for being with us tonight.